Hello and welcome to Raw Podcast with myself, Kugan Cassius. Delighted this week to be joined for part 2 of Ohara Davies, who's had a very interesting and disappointed week. We'll talk about that in the end. But I was thinking about you the other day, OD, and I was just thinking like how you've kind of played your career, kind of not necessarily in the ring, but kind of your personality, your media personality, all these different things you've done. So, are you Mr. Controversial or are you Mr. Misunderstood? Which one is it?
I think I'm just Mr. himself. A lot of other people in the spotlight, in the limelight, like to go by the script. They don't want to be themselves. They get told what to say. They don't talk about what they really believe because they're scared that they'll lose the sponsors or the people won't like them. I've just always been myself. I say what I want to say. And because of that, people don't like me. Some people do like me. Some say I'm controversial. But if every athlete, if everyone in the limelight, everyone in the public eye was the same way that I was, everyone would be controversial. But everyone goes by the script. I just don't go by the script.
Is it something, obviously you've been pro for quite some time and you've had moments that have been considered more controversial than others. Because I look at your career and I think, did you get past the point where you think, well, I've played that villain part, I'm just going to carry on doing it?
No, because I played the villain part. I got told what to say, especially when I was at Matchroom. I was getting told, even though I wanted to play that villain anyway, I got told to exaggerate it and to say things that was like over the top. And, that was a bit too much. But after that Matchroom phase was over, I was just more myself. I was just more just being me. I didn't exaggerate anything. I was just me.
Because I look at you in comparison to some of the other kind of outspoken characters in Britain. We can use other examples abroad as well, but specifically in Britain, and not a lot of fighters have chosen to kind of go down that route. If we look at people like Chizora's always been from day one been the same. Fury has kind of changed over the last few years, but you're in a kind of select few people that can be deemed as controversial. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I am. Because, listen, as I said, everyone else goes, that you go by the script, they're all media trained. I was never media trained. I come straight from the hood to one day I'm a pro boxer. I'm from Hackney. I had nothing. I never had anything. And, a lot of the times I wasn't used to anything that I had. I didn't know how to handle it. And my brothers are there to support me, but they never had much either. We're all from the ghetto. So, when you're coming from certain backgrounds and certain areas and stuff, it can affect the way that you are. When you finally get something and you get the limelight, you get a bit of money. There's so many factors as to why someone acts the way they act. And also age, age, it also plays a part. I look at Ben Whittaker now and the way that they judge him for things that he says and the way that he acts, and I just say, he's young. Let him be himself. Let him act wild and young. At least we're not on the streets. At least we're not on the streets selling drugs, doing crimes. We want to act out and be a bit wild. It's okay. Let the youth be youth. And when I was young, a lot of boxing fans, they didn't want me to be young. They wanted me to act mature. When I wasn't mature, I was young in my mind as well. And, that's what it was.
How problematic was your growing up and say childhood, but more so kind of when you entered a phase of being out, being on the streets? How problematic was that for you back then, looking back at it now?
Like at 16 years old, 17 years old, I was on bail for possession of Class A drugs, and they were looking to do me for attempted murder. I got kicked out of every school I've ever been to. My primary school, I got kicked out. My first secondary school, I got kicked out. My second secondary school, I got kicked out. I was on the road, wanted to sell drugs and be like the hustlers and the drug dealers. This is the kind of place that I'm coming from. A lot of people think I'm from Buckingham Palace and I'm trying to act out when I'm trying to act all weird. They think I'm from a posh area. These people don't know I'm from the hood. And, this is where I'm from. This is how I came up. And then I became a pro athlete. So just because I might say one or two over-the-top things on camera, it's okay. Don't judge me for it. Understand that I come from a place. I come from the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the barrel. So understand and just give me a pass to say a few wild things. At least I'm not selling drugs. At least I'm not, I'm not trying to kill people and damage other people's lives. I'm just trying to be an athlete and do a professional sport. But a lot of boxing fans, they didn't want to give me that grace.
Ohara, you talk about that part of your life now, and it could have been, I'm assuming, could have been so much different. Mm-hmm. I know people use it as a cliche saying that about boxing saving lives, which we know isn't a cliche saying, because we know that there's proof out there that it is in fact the case. But for yourself, like I said, knowing some of this stuff I've known from when you've spoken about it before, but knowing this stuff, like, without boxing, you wasn't really giving yourself a chance in life, were you?
Without boxing, listen, I'll be in jail or dead. 100% I'll be in jail or dead. What else could I do? I started boxing. I was in a youth club where all of the, all the guys from my hood would all go to this certain youth club, and one day they had a boxing coach that came in, and they had him come in every Wednesday. Every Wednesday he used to come in and hold the pads for us, and we'll get the gloves and hit the pads, and that's how I started my boxing career. And I just went there because I liked it. It was nothing that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a hustler and to sell drugs. That's what I wanted to do. Without boxing, I'd be dead or in jail. Boxing saved my life. And, when I look back now, I'm so thankful that he came to that youth club, and that the people that ran that youth club decided to bring in a boxing coach, because they could have brought in anything, a football coach, a hockey coach, a basketball coach, but they chose boxing. And I didn't know that I liked the boxing. I didn't know anything about boxing. I just wanted to go and give it a go. And bang, 14 years later, I'm still doing it. I'm a pro athlete. I'm not in jail. I'm on YouTube. They're watching me right now. It's mad. It's mad.
Do you think how you was before you found boxing, do you think that was you being a product of your environment? That's what was going on then?
Absolutely, because if I wasn't a product of my environment, I'll still be doing the same things now. But I'm not doing the same things now. So when you're from a certain area, you're around a certain group of friends, and they say, this is cool, that is cool, I'll do this. And then the older people in the hood that had the cars, they came from, these people were doing the same things. They used to stab people, have guns and stuff like that. So this is the things that I wanted to do, because this is what I grew up thinking. It was cool. This is a cool thing to do, and I wanted to be cool. And so that's what I done. But, I was 100% a product of my environment, because other people that are not from the certain areas or didn't have the upbringing that I had are living totally different lives. They never been involved in gangs. They never stabbed anyone. They never sold drugs, because everyone's a product of their environment. How you're raised, how you're brought up, is what defines you as a person, and what you think's cool and what you do.
The country's always had a big problem with gang culture and gang violence. How do you see a comparison of gang culture and gang violence 10 years ago compared to what we've seen today?
Oh, it was a lot worse back then. When I look at Hackney now, it's all trendy. You got the people there walking the dogs, and you got people from out of town going there. I go to Hackney nowadays, and I'm walking through the hood, and these people that are there, all the trendy people, they're looking at me like I'm in the wrong place. And I'm like, listen, you don't know, this is my area. This is where I grew up. You in the wrong place. But they're looking at me like, get the fuck out of here. What you doing here? You ain't from around here. I'm like, nah, mate, this is my hood. It's changed now. Hackney's, like, the area's changed now. They're cracking down on gang culture, even though there are still crimes that happen every now and again. They got police everywhere, they got cameras everywhere, and they're cracking down on gang culture. So gang culture, even though it still happens now, there's still crimes that go on now, is nowhere near as bad as it was back then. Back then, there was 40 of us on the block. 40 of us. Pizza men couldn't even come through the block. Listen, you come through the block on your motorbike, it was taking your bike and the food. If someone wanted to get a Chinese takeaway or some pizza, the pizza man had to meet them outside the block on the main road, because he knew he can't come inside the block. And you come inside the estate, you're leaving with no food and no bike and no money. That's it. Nowadays, they're free, and everyone enjoys. Everyone they got more freedom now to go where they want to go. They got freedoms to go into the estate without being fear of being robbed. They're free. So the gang culture, even though crime, it still goes on now. There's always going to be crime, but I think that in the UK we've done a good job to eradicate the crime and to make less of it as possible. And I think we're doing a good job.
OD, aside from the possibility of you ending up in prison or worse, if it wasn't boxing for you, if you'd like to think of something that you would have done as your thing or your trade, what do you think that would have been?
A drug dealer. Like, you're telling me apart from... there was nothing else that I was into, nothing else that I knew. You box... No, it wasn't even boxing because I wasn't boxing then. It was like, you're in the hood, you sell drugs, you sell weed. You buy weed, you sell it, you buy more. I was learning the business of weed. I used to get a good deal. So I buy a lot out of a good deal. I cut it up, I sell it for more. So I'm making some decent profit, and then I use that money to buy more weed, and then you get workers for you on a block. You get workers for you, so this person helps, so this person sells your weed for you, and you've got the main line, and they're selling your weed for you. I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be like the main drug dealer, selling weed. And it wouldn't have got far because, like, you see what they're doing now in the UK? They're cracking down on everything. Anyone that sells drugs now is getting caught. And you might get away with it for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. Eventually, you're going to get caught. And they're going to trace it all the way back to the very start. And you're going to go to jail for a very long time. So this is what I say. If it wasn't for boxing, I'd be in jail. Because there was nothing else that I was into.
But of all the things that you could have aspired to have been, forget boxing for a second. The thing that appealed to you were telling me back then, is that you wanted to be a drug dealer. I mean, I suppose there's people out there that will completely understand what you mean by that and kind of the context around it. But it does sound to, like, a lot of people that would sound kind of crazy as well. Listen,
you're a product of your environment, and the people the olders in the hood that had the cars, the people that I wanted to be like were drug dealers. So I wanted to be a drug dealer and follow in their footsteps, to be like them, to be the respected people in the hood, the people that you look up to, like, damn, he's been through it. He's been through a lot, and he's well respected. Everyone has to respect him when they see him. I wanted to be like that. So if they sell drugs, I want to sell drugs too. Ain't no one in the hood got a 9-to-5 job. Ain't no one in the hood working in Asda or in Sainsbury's or in Tesco. Ain't no one starting no legitimate business. Nah, we drug dealers. So that's what I wanted to be.
But looking back now, how much better is it for you that people could look at you and go, that's what he wanted to be, but look where he ended up?
Oh, absolutely. It feels good that, that the people that knew me back then and that see me now, they're like, wow, this guy's changed. It's like a different person. But, not just that. I don't really care about me. I want other people that live that lifestyle to look at me and to see if I can do it, they can do it. Because I'm no one special. I'm no one special. Even at boxing, I ain't that good. The first time when he came to the youth club to do the boxing, all of us went there and done the boxing. All of us from the hood. I wasn't one of the good ones. I was one of the worst. But I was the most consistent one. Everyone else came for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they stopped. But these people were good, a lot better than me. I was just the most consistent. That's all. And they got so much untapped potential in the hood. The potential we've got in the hood is so big. We've got so much talent in there, but just that these people are not consistent to find a passion and to stick with it. If they did, there'll be so many Ohara Davieses. I'm just different. I'm just the one that gets singled out because I was just the most consistent one. That's all. Consistency. That's all it was.
Does hard work beat talent?
Absolutely. Hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. If talent works hard, then yeah, it'll be different. But hard work, it beats talent. There's so many pros now, so many fighters now that you see they ain't got the talent as much, but they work hard. I look at Conor Benn as a prime example. He's got the talent, but his hard work. So what Conor Benn's talent's there, but his hard work's up there to the ceiling. Conor Benn, someone, he's got talent, yeah, but he ain't got good talent and he's just got talent, but his hard work is unmatched. His hard work ethic is unmatched. Whether he's fighting or not fighting, he's outside running, he's doing this, boxing all the time. Whether he's got a fight date or not, he ain't fought in about a year now. He's still training every day. This is someone that shows hard work. It beats the talent if talent doesn't work hard.
Do you think you will fall under the category of a wasted talent for yourself? Because a lot of people used to say that about a lot of fighters that have come up in the UK and never really got to where they were meant to get to.
Yeah, a lot of people say I'm a wasted talent because, they spoke big things about me, and that's not what I achieved in my boxing career. And if they say I'm a wasted talent, maybe I am. But one thing, it is what it is, and I'm just thankful that I'm not where I used to be in life. And you've got to be thankful. I'm not greedy. Yes, I could be a lot further, but I could also be a lot worse. And you've got to take the bitter with the sweet and not be too greedy. I'm happy with what I've achieved so far, with what I've achieved in my boxing career. And that's about it. I don't want to be too greedy because everyone can get further. Everyone can have more. Everyone could have achieved more than what they achieved. I don't want to dwell on those stuff. It just makes you a bitter person. I want to be happy. I'm happy with what I've achieved, happy with what I have. I'm okay with that.
It's a bit of a weird term, wasted talent, because it's almost a regretful term in terms of people looked at you or they look at other fighters. There's loads I could reel off, and they expect so many big things, and when you don't reach all those big things, you kind of then possibly fall into that bracket. But like you said, your life's mapped out, isn't it?
I don't regret anything, Kugan. I don't regret anything because the same bad choices that I've made, the way that I may have been advised wrong certain times in my boxing career, the bad choices that I made, I know I could have been a lot further in my boxing career, but I could also be a lot worse in my boxing career. I could also be a lot worse. I know people that were so talented, Kugan, so fucking talented, that went to turn pro and they failed a brain scan. They could never turn pro. Talented as fuck, but they failed a brain scan. I didn't fail my brain scan. I passed it. And even though I didn't achieve what I could have achieved, it could also be a lot worse. And I look at other people's situation and I'm just like, wow, thank God that didn't happen to me.
OD, when we were speaking earlier on and I asked you about kind of how you portrayed your boxing career from kind of how people perceived you, etc. And we spoke about how did you go over the top sometimes or were you just trying to sell fights? But do you think the way you did things possibly alienated fans at some point?
Oh, absolutely. The way that I acted in certain conferences, how disrespectful I was to certain other fighters. I did lose a hell of a lot of fans, so many sponsors. I could have made a lot more money in my boxing career. I lost so many fans, so many potential sponsors that I could have had. But I was young. I was young. I was inexperienced. And if I could turn time back, I wouldn't change anything because I'd done what I felt like I wanted to do. And in life, you've got to make mistakes to learn from them. And I would make those mistakes over and over again because I learned from those mistakes. I learned what was right and what was wrong. And that's what I wanted to do at the time. And with that, and with what I've done, ultimately, everything I've done in life is what's led me to this point in life. And right now, I'm happy. I could have more, but I'm happy with the little that I've got. And just because I'm happy, I wouldn't change anything. Because maybe if I achieved more, I wouldn't be happy. Maybe if I achieved so much more, I would have met someone, fell in love, got married to her early and been robbed of all my money. Maybe that would have happened. Maybe. But maybe that didn't happen because I didn't achieve that much. So she's gone to another person to go dig and rob his money. Like, you never know. I'm just thankful with the little that I've got.
You're right, you do never know any other. You can only speak about what situation you're in now, and everything you've done in your life, like you said, has led to this now. You've spoken so honestly, sometimes a bit too honestly, about situations with women in your life. I saw you talking to Fran Hennessy the other day. I thought it was a really good clip about you giving her kind of advice at that. I know she's obviously got a good team and obviously Mick's her dad, but you were giving her advice about kind of always be thinking kind of away from boxing, and you use some examples of what you do away from boxing, which is good. This is knowledge that, you know, you're trying to pass on.
So that advice, even though I'm talking to her, it wasn't just to her. I knew that the camera's there. That advice was to everyone that was going to see that video. And I know that that video was going to go far and everyone's going to see it. That was advice to everyone else, because this is the advice that I should have had early on in my boxing career, because I've wasted so much money. So much money I've wasted. And I know other fighters are out there getting paid, wasting their money. Every fighter needs to be thinking about investing, because you never know when your boxing career can end. One day you could be earning 100k a fight, you might get knocked out, next fight you're earning 5k, 10k. And if you've wasted that 100k, you're going to look back after your boxing career is done and think, wow, I've got nothing but good memories. We don't want memories. We want to live the same lifestyle after our boxing career that we lived during our boxing career. No, in even better lifestyle after our boxing career. But we can't do that unless we invest. And I remember when I was at the Sims gym, Tony Sims always used to say to us, listen, when you get some money, buy some property, buy some property, buy some property. I wasn't earning money back then to buy property, but it always kept in my mind. It was always just in my mind. So even though I wasn't at the Sims gym no more, when I got some money, the property market is what I got into. And, you know, I'm not rich, but me and my brother, we've managed to buy a few apartments, and, you know, this is my side income. So after my boxing career, even if I do have to get a job, I've got a side income and I've got some investments and I've got knowledge on the property market, and this is going to do me good in life. And, you know, if I can talk, Kugan, let me have a drink quickly. Sure. So, even when I look at other fighters, Kugan, that's in my age range, in my weight class, that I was going up against. We got Tyrone McKenna, we got Lewis Ritson, and we got Robbie Davis Jr. Davis Jr., I never fought against him, but he's around my age, he's in my age range, in my weight class. When you look at these three fighters, yeah, these three fighters are still fighting. All of them got beat in the last two fights. Lewis Ritson got stopped in his last two fights. Tyrone McKenna lost his last two fights. Davis Jr. lost his last two fights. And you know what? All three of them, their time's up, just like my time's up. But you know what? They're still fighting on. Tyrone McKenna's fighting in a hard fight soon. Robbie Davis Jr. is fighting in a hard fight soon. Lewis Ritson's fighting in a hard fight soon. Why are they still fighting, even though their time's done? Everyone knows that their time's done. Everyone knows that they're not going to make the money now that they used to make. They're never going to make the money now that they made in their prime. It's the new guys' time to reign now. Adam Azim, Dalton Smith, Harlem Eubank, a few other fighters. It's their time to reign. It's not our time to reign. Why are they still fighting on for less than half of what they used to make? Because they need the money. Because if they had the information and the knowledge to invest back then, they wouldn't be rushing to take these fights at this age and at this stage of their boxing career. And when I look at these three, and I'm just like, damn, these are guys around my age. They should all be giving up. They should all be coming to the end of their boxing careers. And this is what's also influenced my choice in coming to the end of my boxing career. Because you have to know what time it is, and you're getting older. We're getting older. We're not getting any younger. We are on the decline. These young up and coming fighters are on the increase. We are on the decline now, and we need to accept it and know what time it is, and we know that our time's up soon. If not, our time's up now, and we need to not be afraid to give up boxing. But we're afraid to give up boxing because we ain't got no money. Fighters ain't make no investments. If they made investments, it'll be an easy choice to not take certain fights. It'll be an easy choice just to give it up or to not accept a fight for shit money. I know they're not getting paid good money in the next fight. All three of them. I know they're not getting paid good money. But they have to fight on because this is all they know. Boxing's all they know, just like boxing's all I know. And they're being pressured and forced to fight beyond their time because they need the money. This is why I'm always talking about the property invest. It doesn't have to be the property market. It can be anything. You can start a business. You can start anything, but you need to think about this stuff early because listen, you go from 22 to 32 in no time. I felt like I was Azim's age only yesterday. I was the same age as as what Azim is now. Now I'm 10 years older now. It comes around so fast. You need to be smart.
Why have you had such a battle with the media in your career?
Why have I had such a battle with the media? Because the media like to have a bad guy, and I accepted to play that role of the bad guy many years ago. I said a few controversial things, and the media said, "Yep, we got our bad guy, Ohara Davies." And you know what? Controversy sells, and I was always a bit controversial, and that's what sold. So the media loved me, because when they put a quote by me on their front page, people say, "Wow, I'm gonna buy that," or "I'm gonna read that." What did he say? They don't want to put someone humble and normal on their page because they're not saying anything controversial. I do. And that's why the media loved having me, and they loved painting me in a bad light, because that's what sold. Controversy sells. And I wouldn't say it's a battle. I say the media just wanted to make some money, and I was just the perfect candidate for them to put on the front page.
I asked you that because there's been 2 or 3 times in your career at press conferences where you've actively called the media out. You've come out and said you're not doing interviews with outlets in boxing at press conferences, and you've literally done what I just said, called them out. What's been the reason for that?
Especially after when I fought Ismail Grosso, a lot of people didn't message me, because you see after my fights, people always want to, any fights that I win, they message me, they want to do interviews with me, they want to catch up and let's go out for food and I like my mates and stuff. But when the fights that I lost, like that fight, it was nothing. You messaged me, we got Louis from Boxing Social that got in touch with me, but a lot of the media outlets, they just wrote bad things about me. Ohara Davies got knocked out in the first round, and then that's it. It was nothing. But when it's a fight that I win, they want to speak to me and interview me and talk to me and stuff like this. And I was like, nah, we're not doing that now. I'm not giving you my time and my effort and my energy and my breath when you just disrespect me. You showed me it's just business. You showed me, you know what, that you make me look bad at every opportunity you get. So now, you know what, I don't hate you, but I'm not going to waste my time with you and my breath and my energy with you. And, I've been a pro a long time now, and when you're a pro for as long as me, you learn about the media, you learn about people. And when I was new to this game, I saw them in a good light. But now that I'm experienced, I see them for what they are. And that's cunts.
Let's finish off by reflecting on last week. I know you made some comments after the fight in regards to whether you'll continue. Time out from that now. Are you still standing by those comments, or are you going to wait and see what happens?
My boxing career's over. My boxing career's over. I decided even before the fight. I got a voice note if you want to hear it. I messaged Lee, and Lee messaged me like, "Yes, we're gonna go win this fight, OD." I worked hard. I was ready to win. I messaged back. I was like, "Yep, Lee, we're gonna win this fight," and then my boxing career's over. I said to him in a voice note, "I don't love the sport no more. I don't love the sport of boxing no more. Win, lose or draw, this is my last fight in boxing. I'm gonna retire." That's what I said to Lee. I've got the voice note on my phone, and I still stand by those comments because I'm not in love with this game anymore. Before, I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be live on the TV all the time and be known, and that's when I was young. And with age, I've changed now. Life's it's just different now. I don't have the same hunger to dominate people like I used to have. I used to want to dominate people, to be the best, to have my name in lights. Now, I just want to be at peace, and I want people to leave me alone. I don't want to be on the TV. I don't want to be doing the media stuff. I just want to be humble and be at home and sit on FIFA all day, or be playing Call of Duty or Fortnite. That's what I want. I'm a different person now. Life's good. And back then, I'm coming from the ghetto. I used to struggle my whole life. Now, I'm not struggling as much. So life's okay, and that's also changed me as a person. And even though I've got the physicality, I know how to fight. My mindset is not the mindset of a fighter. I'm not fit I'm not fit to be a fighter right now. And, and that's the truth. And I've noticed this. I'm a happy person now. I'm about, positive thinking and stuff like this. And I don't want to lie to myself and try to convince myself I still have it in me. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. And in a way, I'm glad that Adam is in won the fight, because that's how it's meant to go. This is just like the children are meant to bury their parents. The parents are not meant to bury the children. The younger fighter is meant to, if he's the real deal, and they say he's good, he's meant to go up and beat the older fighter that's experienced, that's been in the game for a long time. And I've been in the game for a long time. And if Adam was the real deal, it's how the cycle's meant to go. Adam's meant to beat me, and then I call it a day. My career's over. I've been beat by the young guy. That's how it's meant to go. And one day, Adam's also going to be my age, and it's going to be the young kid in his gym that looks up to him now. That's also going to come and beat Adamism. And then the same thing's going to happen to him. It's how the cycle is meant to go. The cycle of life, the cycle of boxing. That's how it's meant to go. The younger fighter, if he's the real deal, is meant to come out and beat the older guy. And I'm very happy for. I'm happy for Adamism. I'm happy that he's won the fight. Listen, we fought on a Saturday. I was out with him on a Sunday, and I was out with him on a Monday too. There was no anger. There was no animosity. I'm not gutted. I'm not gutted that I lost. I understand my place in life, and my place in my boxing career right now. That I'm coming to the age where I'm declining, my mind's not fit to be a fighter, and my boxing career's over. And Adam, the fighter with Adam, it just confirmed that. Because I know if I fought against him and I won, my boxing career it would have continued. I would have been tempted to continue and to carry on. But now that I've lost, I can bow out in peace, just like I wanted to, even before the fight. It just confirmed everything that I already had in my mind.
Yeah, look, I was know from, it doesn't happen all the time, but after fighters say things after a fight, but from what you said the other day, it seemed quite, you were adamant, and that was kind of your concrete decision, and obviously you've spoken about that you'd made your mind up whether you won, drew or lost that fight. So listen, you've had a very good career as it is. Like I said, from your own admission, could you have done more? Possibly. Could it have been worse? Definitely. So you got to be happy with kind of how you've bowed out, surely.
100%. And you know what? When I say it could have been worse, a prime example I'll use is like when I fought in a golden contract. You remember when you had to pick out the balls, and if you get the golden ball, you can choose who to fight. When I fought Jeff Ofori, I wasn't fit for that fight. If I fought Mohammed Mimoun or Tyrone McKenna in that shape, I would have lost. And I was the first one to choose which ball to pick. You have to close your eyes and do it's like a raffle. And I got the gold ball, and bang, I chose the easiest fighter to fight. If I didn't get that gold ball, I would have fought one of the other two, and I would have lost the fight in the second round of the golden contract. And then I wouldn't have won the golden contract. And then I wouldn't have got the golden boy deal. I wouldn't have fought Ishmael Broso. I wouldn't have fought Lewis Ritson. I wouldn't have made the small amount of money that I made after. It was all luck because I got that gold ball. So the same way I think I could have achieved more, I could have achieved less, because for that fight I wasn't fit. I'm just lucky I got the gold ball. That's why I won the golden contract. It was luck, and I'm thankful. And even when I fought Logan Yoon, that's a fight that I was meant to lose. I was already experienced. I've been in the game for a while. I lost a couple of fights, and I fought the young fighter that they said this guy is the next big thing. He beat Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia as an amateur, and he's the next big thing. And they said I'm going to lose this fight 100%. That's the fight I was meant to lose, and my boxing career would have most likely been done. But you know what? I won the fight. But when I look back, my boxing career could have been done then. But I won the fight, and then I carried on, and I was pro for another 4 years after that. Winning these fights, making money, making investments. I'm just thankful because that's a fight that I could have lost, a fight I was meant to lose. But no, I carried on this far. And if I could have won the Adamism fight, I would have continued to box, even though it was a fight that I should have lost. But you know what? I did lose, finally. It could have easily happened all the way back then. But it could have happened in 2019, but it happened in 2024. I got 4 or 5 years extra of being a pro athlete, making money, and living my dreams. You've got to be thankful. And I'm just very thankful. I'm not looking at what I could have achieved or what I could have made or what I could have won if I got managed the right way and if I didn't say certain stuff. I'm just happy that I managed to get this far.
Okay, Ohara Davies, much appreciate your time. I'm sure, obviously, we don't live far from each other, but also I'm going to see you on the boxing circuit anyway all the time when we do speak.
I'm always going to be around in boxing. I told him I'm always going to be around, whether it's in the management, whether it's part of a promotional team, part of a management team, or whether I'm working with Lee Eaton. I'm always going to be around. Boxing's not just going to get rid of me like that. Boxing's never going to wipe its hands with me. I'm always going to be involved in some way, shape or form. And someone's always going to want me on the team because I'm experienced and I'm a character and I'm a name and I'm a face. So I'll always be around.
Guys, thank you very much for listening to Raw Podcast with myself, Ohara Davies. This has been part 2. We'll catch you next week. Make sure you comment, like and subscribe. Ohara, thank you very much for your time, good sir.
Thank you for having me. It's the best podcast in the country. Let's go.